Oddity fine. I got some economy cocks, a gin and tonic on the rocks, where angels fear to tread. I say, choose your booze, let's hit the red eye. Think of young Diana Durbin and how she sung on rum and bourbon. Or enhance your luncheon hour with a planter's punch and a whiskey sour. If you feel like a wreck, try a horse's neck or a sherry with a cherry in the new finer size. If you don't name your poison, I'll have to get the boys in. The spirit of adventure opens one's eyes.
Metalgen?
Welcome back!
Yes, and I'll be prepared. I hope so.
Yeah.
Anyway, tonight we're going to read an entire story consisting of 3 chapters.
But they're all really short, which adds up to a total of like 3,500 or so. But, so yeah, we're gonna just go through the whole thing like we did with Fuckmare.
Anyway, this is Celestia's Cake Obsession by
DeiStar.
Who, I might add, you have a kick-ass avatar!
We are both fans of the Beatles. Like,
I am a huge Beatles fan.
as am I.
Believe me. Believe me. Anyway.
But yeah, we could sit here and discuss the Beatles all night, but we are not going to. We have a fanfic to read.
There are ponies, gentlemen. And unfortunately, ponies take precedence over the Beatles.
Right now.
Right now. Anyway. Well. Let it begin. Celestia's Cake Obsession. Chapter 1. Obsession.
Gods! Gods!
A loud voice yelled through the castle walls. 2 royal Pegasite guards rushed through the halls, running towards the room where their voice was calling.
Gods! Get over here!
The voice yelled, even louder than the first time. The guards ran ever faster, until they finally arrived in the front of the princess's room. They thought she could be in danger, so they will slam the doors with their heads, making their way in.
Your Majesty, what's the problem?
One of the guards asked, looking around the room for any signs of danger or trouble. But there was nothing else than Princess Luna, staring at the guards from her bed.
My sister! Where is she?
Luna yelled at the confused guards, leaping from her bed and striking her hooves firmly onto the floor.
Princess Celestia hasn't been seen since she raised the sun this morning, Your Majesty.
A nervous guard answered.
Why? What happened? Celestia! She ate my special cake!
She stared at the table, which had nothing but an empty plate on it. The guards stared at the table as well, returning their stare to Princess Luna right away.
Go and find her, and bring her here!
The princess commanded, pointing a hoof at the entrance.
Tell all the guards to find her, and don't you dare come back without her! Yes, Your Majesty, right away!
Both guards nervously answered, dashing outside Luna's room. They had to inform the other guards, so they both took different ways.
Celestia, of all the things you have done!
Luna growled to herself, furiously kicking the table with her hoof.
You are not going to get away with this! Wow, my voice went demonic there for a moment.
Meanwhile,
Elsewhere
is in the castle.
Luna's cake was delicious. But all that remains is the slice of cake.
A voice whispered.
My little cake.
Celestia was sitting on a big purple cushion inside of her bedroom. The door was locked, so no one could interrupt her. With her magic, she was levitating a plate with a slice of cake on it.
Oh, just look at your delicious frosting and the chocolate.
She was licking her lips with her mouth. It was the perfect cake, and it was all for herself. She licked a bit of the frosting.
Oh, yes.
Celestia moaned in pleasure. If this turns into a clopfic, I swear on the King in Yellow that there is not a corner of this fucking planet you could hide.
I am a servant of Azathoth. I'm protected. Actually, no, I am not a servant. Azathoth is my bitch!
Yes, but as we all know, I have much higher things as my bitch.
Yogg-Sothoth and Azathoth are on the same plane of existence. And Azathoth rules the entire universe.
I don't serve Yogg-Sothoth. I serve the Destroyer. But anyway, my own tendencies aside, suddenly, a bright glow came from the middle of the room. Celestia rapidly stood up from her cushion and stared at the glow. She noticed a pony appeared from the glow. Very familiar pony. Finally, the glow enveloped the entire room in less than a second, and it faded away.
Princess Celestia! I finally found you!
The pony chimed in.
Twilight Sparkle, my faithful student. Why do you teleport inside my room?
Celestia asked, breathing heavily.
Princess, I...
Twilight stared at her mentor, noticing the hovering plate with the very same slice of cake.
Is that a slice of cake?
She pointed over the plate.
Don't touch it! It's mine!
Celestia roared, stepping back from Twilight.
Princess, what's going on?
Twilight walked towards the princess.
Why are you acting like this?
Back off! This is my cake, and I'm going to eat it!
Celestia's horn began to glow, and with a flash, she disappeared along with the cake.
Princess!
Twilight shouted, but it was too late. Her mentor was already gone.
Princess Celestia, are you in there?
A male voice yelled from outside of the room, knocking the door several times. Twilight ran towards the door. She unlocked it and opened it.
Guards?
She saw two of the royal guards, panting heavily.
Twilight Sparkle, what are you doing in the princess's room? And where's the princess?
One guard asked, looking inside Celestia's room.
I don't know. She was here just a moment ago. She was acting weird.
Twilight replied.
What happened? She had a slice of cake and told me not to touch it. Then she teleported away with the slice of cake. Oh, this is bad.
One guard stared back at Twilight.
Twilight Sparkle, go to Princess Luna's royal room to talk to her. She bad. Know what's going on.
The guard pointed his hoof, showing the way.
Okay.
Twilight left the room and sprinted towards Luna's room, running faster than ever. Her beloved mentor was probably in trouble. She ran through some stairways until she finally reached Luna's room.
Princess Luna, what happened?
Twilight eagerly asked, entering the princess's room.
Twilight Sparkle, it's my sister!
Luna replied.
She is obsessed with cakes!
And? What's the problem with cakes?
Well, according to Eric from the BBC, this is a bad thing.
Yes, well, we all know what happened to Eric. He went back to the UK. Anyway, she stared at Twilight.
Oh, yeah, we probably should clear that up. Eric has successfully returned to the UK, and we have never seen him again after he teleported into our house.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Moving right along.
She stared at Twilight.
If we don't stop her, she might become dangerous! What? How?
Twilight was confused, as am I.
Mm-hmm.
Why would her mentor be obsessed with cakes? How could she become dangerous?
Listen, Twilight. Terrible things will happen if we don't stop my sister. That's why I must ask you to find her and bring her to me, as I am the only one who can stop her. Okay?
Okay. Luna walked towards Twilight. She opened a little wooden box that was lying on her bed with a magic. She withdrew a small necklace with a white pearl from it.
Once you find her, use this.
Luna hovered the necklace in front of Twilight.
This white pearl will teleport my sister to my room. But what do I do with it?
Twilight asked, looking at the necklace.
Once you find my sister, crush this necklace with your hoof or whatever, and run as fast as you can.
Luna handed over the necklace to Twilight. Twilight accepted the necklace and put it around her neck.
Don't worry, Princess Luna. I'll find Princess Celestia.
Twilight chimed.
Very well, then. I entrust you with a task. Good luck, Twilight Sparkle.
The princess said dismissively. Twilight nodded, turned back, and she left the room. Elsewhere's unknown to others.
Oh, so Luna thinks she can stop me. Alright then.
Oh,
I think this will be fun. Oh my. This cake is so good.
And that concludes Chapter 1.
On to Chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
Captured.
So, where should I go? I have no idea where the princess could be.
You think a chicken keep a good corner? Just saying.
Right.
Twilight talked to herself while running around Canterlot's castle. She really had no idea where to go. Celestia could be anywhere.
But if what Princess Luna said is true, then she should be somewhere near Cakes.
She stopped running and began to think.
Somewhere with Cakes. Sugar Cube Corner.
Called it. She timed. She knew a cake addict would go to Sugar Cube Corner, Ponyville's best bakery.
I don't have time to use the real oil chariot or Canal Express. I must reach Ponyville immediately!
Twilight kept talking to herself. Phone began to glow, and with a flash, she disappeared.
How far can you travel all by teleportation in this universe?
I have no idea. They never really...
Yeah.
Well, then again, apparently...
I've seen some flash fictions depict long-distance travel as inducing severe migraines, but otherwise, how does that work?
Well, then again, she did teleport into technically the Gandalf realm in that last episode of Season 3. But moving right along...
That was... You know what?
That's semantics.
Yeah, semantics.
An orb of light shined somewhere in Ponyville. Twilight came out of that orb and landed on hooves on the ground. Where are you, Sarah Kalna? Sorry, wrong franchise. She looked around to check where she was.
Alright, Sugar Cube Corner is only 2 blocks from here.
She began to run, ignoring the ponies who were staring at the recently teleported Twilight. As Twilight approached closer to Sugar Cube Corner, she started to feel even more nervous. She didn't know if Celestia was actually there or not, but she had to help her. Twilight finally arrived at Sugar Cube Corner. She stopped running and noticed the door was forced open.
Oh, no, this is bad!
She squeaked, resuming her running towards the entrance. Twilight stepped inside the bakery, nervously looking around the store.
Hello? Pinkie? Princess Celestia? Any pony?
She called out, but no pony answered. She kept looking around. Some of the tables were flipped over, and the cakes and the counters were missing.
Oh no, I'm too late!
Twilight whispered, suddenly hearing a squeak from the kitchen.
Huh?
Twilight ran towards the kitchen. The kitchen was a disaster. Broken eggs and eggshells everywhere, flour scattered all over the place, spilled milk, and several broken plates.
Hello? What happened here?
Twilight examined the kitchen until something caught her attention. A pink earth pony was crawled in the corner. She was covering her face in her hooves and shaking.
Pinkie, is that you?
Twilight approached the scared pony.
What happened?
Pinkie moved one hoof from her head and stared at Twilight. Hooves were covered with cake frosting along with her mouth and legs. Some flour, too.
Twilight.
Pinkie softly whispered.
Pinkie, what happened here? Why are you covered in cake frosting?
Twilight asked her frightened friend, who couldn't stop shaking.
Princess Celestia.
She muttered, closing her eyes.
She came in here demanding for cakes.
The princess? So it's true. Princess Celestia is obsessed with cakes. Pinkie, what did the princess do?
She asked her friend, who seemed to be a bit more relaxed.
She wanted cakes. She had cake frosting all over her face and hooves.
Pinkie, what did the princess do?
Twilight asked again.
She destroyed the kitchen and stole all the cakes.
Pinkie began to shiver again, suddenly opening her eyes wide open.
The library, Twilight! Don't go to the library!
Oh God, I can see forever! She yelled, returning to her crawled position.
The library? What's in the library?
Twilight asked, but Pinkie Pie did not answer.
Pinkie?
Celestia.
She squeaked.
Princess Celestia? At the library?
Twilight asked herself.
Pinkie, stay right here. I'm going to find the princess and find out what's going on.
Twilight said to her friend, who nervously nodded her head.
No time to walk.
Twilight said as her horn began to glow. She teleported herself out of Sugar Cube Corner. Pinkie looked at the point where Twilight was, but she was gone. Meanwhile, across town...
In the library.
Just look at your bright red cherries.
Celestia whispered, licking the cherries of a cake.
You're always the best part of a cake.
She chuckled. Celestia was standing in the middle of Twilight's library. Her mane, tail, hooves, and mouth were covered in cake. So much cake.
Something wrong?
God. I'm getting flashbacks.
To what?
A particular tumbler.
What, Princess Celestia?
I'm getting Celestia flashbacks, man.
How is that bad? I've seen way worse.
Replace the word cake.
Oh.
Yeah, now you see it. Anyway, moving right the fuck
Dude,
along.
Little Miss Rarity is freakier than that.
You shut your damn mouth about that!
Que sera, sera.
That's art, damn it! Art! Anyway, my own tendencies aside.
Moving right along.
There were several cakes piled up next to her. She was eating a white cake with cherries, giving it violent bites. She was speaking no pony in particular.
Ah, the vanilla.
She mumbled, licking the cake remains from her lips. A bright glow began to appear from one side of the room. Celestia already knew it was Twilight. She stood up and wiped the cake from her mouth with a hoof. The glow flashed, enveloping the room, and Twilight appeared right in front of Celestia.
Princess Celestia!
Twilight exclaimed.
What did you do to Sugar Cube Corner?
Celestia smiled.
My faithful student, do you want a slice of cake?
She hovered a piece of cake in front of her mouth.
No, Princess! I want you to tell me why you stole those cakes from Sugar Cube Corner!
Twilight said, pointing a hoof at the pile of cakes next to Celestia.
Oh, Twilight.
Her horn began to glow and her magical aura surrounded Twilight. She struggled, but she couldn't move.
You're being too harsh about it.
She walked towards Twilight, who was still struggling her way out of the spell.
Princess, let me go!
Twilight said, trying to break free, but it was useless. Celestia's magic was too powerful. Celestia approached her head to Twilight.
Oh, my faithful student, I will show you the wonders of cakes.
Celestia whispered right next to Twilight's ear, giving it a soft, gentle nibble. Twilight cringed.
And that concludes Chapter 2. The third and final chapter.
Okay. Chapter 3. Cakes.
Now, Twilight, open your mouth.
Celestia ordered. Twilight shook her head, still struggling her way out of Celestia's spell.
Come on, open it.
Celestia said, again, hovering a sliced cake in front of her. Twilight shook her head again in denial.
I'm telling you to open your mouth.
Celestia roared, pushing the slice on Twilight's mouth. Twilight growled. She could feel the cake trying to enter her mouth, but she kept her mouth sealed. It was quite hard since it was her favorite. Maple syrup cake.
Twilight, don't make me do it.
Celestia warned Twilight, trying once again to press the cake to her mouth. Twilight shed a tear from her left eye, still closing her mouth as hard as she could.
Fine, be that way.
Celestia sighed. Celestia's horn glowed a little brighter. Twilight could feel her mouth being forced open. She tried to resist, but once again, Celestia's magic was too powerful for her. Finally, Twilight opened her mouth wide open. Celestia then pushed the cake. Ah, Jesus! Can I read one story a week without encountering some fetish?
Dude,
Oh.
yes. We've done plenty of stories like that.
Once a week, I read something with a fetish in it.
Dude, you're the only one here getting Celestia flashbacks.
No, I'm not getting Celestia flashbacks. It's called Vor. Never mind.
You're the only one getting that!
I'm not the only one. Jesus.
Well, now the audience is going to get it because you're complaining about it!
You're welcome, children. Anyway, let it continue. Celestia forced the cake in.
Now chew.
Celestia told her. Twilight began to whimper, almost choking with the cake in her mouth. She had no option but to chew on her favorite flavored cake. Twilight chewed the cake inside her mouth, slowly swallowing it. She felt the delicious maple syrup flavor she loved so much. The cream, the nuts, the almonds, and the frosting. Her body was beginning to relax.
Why does this feel so good?
Twilight wondered herself, chewing the last bit of cake inside her mouth. As soon as she finished with the cake, she tried to catch her breath, heavily breathing with her mouth open.
Good girl, Twilight.
Celestia smiled, looking at her precious student. Twilight opened her eyes and stared back at her mentor. She had the same warm and peaceful smile she always had.
Princess, stop, please.
Twilight could hardly talk. She coughed a little.
Stop, but we're just getting started.
Celestia chimed, levitating another slice of cake and placing it inside Twilight's mouth. Twilight tried to close her mouth before the cake could get in, but it was too late. Once again, she had no option but to eat the cake. Okay, Metal Jen, I'm sorry. This is fucking hilarious. Twilight wasn't struggling away on Celestia's spell anymore. She kept on chewing the new slice of cake. It wasn't the same maple cake from before. Instead, it was a coconut vanilla cake with cinnamon and chocolate. Twilight once again felt the flavors in her mouth. She felt the cinnamon and chocolate scattering all over her gums. She moaned with pleasure once she swallowed the last piece of cake.
So, Twilight, do you like it?
Celestia asked Twilight, who was licking the cake outside of her mouth with her tongue.
Yes.
Twilight confessed. A grin on Celestia's face was formed.
Princess?
Yes, my faithful student.
More.
Twilight muttered. Celestia chuckled.
All right, Twilight.
She levitated another piece of cake from the pile and placed it inside Twilight's mouth. She was surprised to see Twilight devouring it. Twilight was done with another piece of cake in a matter of seconds.
More! Please!
Twilight begged, licking as much cake as she could from outside of her mouth. Celestia levitated 3 slices of cake. She gave Twilight 1 slice, waiting for her to finish before she could get her the other slices.
I love it! I love it!
Twilight was furiously biting down the cake in her mouth. She loved the explosion of flavors that were forming inside her.
Don't even think about it. Okay.
Don't stop, Princess! Please, more!
Twilight yelled. Celestia gave her another slice, looking at her student with a big smile.
Please, Princess! More! More! Oh, God! Yes, Doctor! Keep doing it! Ah!
I'm sorry, Metal Jin. The temptation was too much.
Twilight moaned. She wanted more. She desired more cake. She wasn't satisfied yet. Celestia placed more cake inside Twilight's mouth, which didn't last long since Twilight was eating it faster than before.
And I just used my Twilight sex with the Doctor joke way too early.
Yes.
More! More! Princess, please, more!
Twilight groaned out loud again.
Okay, I think you don't need this anymore.
Celestia's heart stopped glowing and the magical aura around Twilight disappeared. Twilight fell onto the floor and dashed towards the pile of cakes. Twilight couldn't decide what to eat first.
White chocolate, strawberry, lemon, honey, which one?
Twilight looked at the cakes once again.
Oh, whatever!
She began to devour the cakes, giving random alternate bites to different cakes. She had small pieces of cake all over her mane.
Good girl, Twilight.
Celestia whispered to herself.
These cakes are so delicious! I love them! I could keep eating them forever!
Twilight exclaimed. She kept eating the cakes, filling her mouth with different pieces of cake, chewing them together.
Princess, I...
She couldn't hold on to it anymore. She let out a loud moan of pleasure. All the delicious flavors in her mouth. Twilight laid on the floor, catching her breath.
Oh my Twilight.
You can't see it right now, but Daedaltheus here is doing pelvic thrusts.
But
it's a pelvic thrust! They're gonna drive people insane!
Wrong franchise! Again!
Fine!
Quiet, or I shall smack you with my ring hand.
You don't scare me, Celestia! Anyway, moving right along.
She sat down and lowered her head, resting it over Twilight's back.
My faithful student, I'm so proud of you.
Celestia whispered into Twilight's ear.
Thank you, Princess.
Twilight replied, rubbing her head on her mentor's neck.
You're welcome, Twilight. I hope you now understand why I love cake so much.
Celestia softly rubbed back.
I do now, Princess. Thank you again for this amazing experience.
Twilight closed her eyes, feeling the soft coat of the princess on her face.
I love cakes, Princess.
I love cakes too, Twilight.
Celestia replied, closing her eyes as well, feeling the little unicorn's body heat on her chin.
Now's my chance!
Twilight suddenly raised from the ground, pushing Celestia and stepping back.
Whoa! Actually, wait. Sorry, that's you.
Whoa! Celestia fell on her back, trying to assimilate what just happened. Twilight ripped the necklace with her magic and the pearl fell to the floor. The pearl! I forgot it! Celestia yelled, remembering why she was in the library in the first place. To steal Luna's pearl.
Ah!
What?
Okay.
It's too late, Princess!
Twilight stomped the pearl with her hoof, bringing it. Suddenly, white smoke began to appear from below her hoof.
Right, Princess Luna said I had to run you from here as far as I could.
Twilight ran towards the front door. Twilight, get back here! Celestia stood up, trying to cast a spell on Twilight, but she couldn't focus because of the white smoke began to envelop the entire library.
I'm sorry, Princess!
Twilight opened the door with the magic, running outside and closing it on her way out. The white smoke surrounded the entire room.
She'll be here any minute. I hope Twilight Sparkle found her.
Luna said, waiting patiently for Celestia's arrival in her room. White smoke began to emanate from the floor.
She's here!
Luna exclaimed, her horn began to glow. The white smoke quickly surrounded Luna's room, and Celestia appeared from it.
No!
Luna shot a beam of magic from her horn towards Celestia. The smoke began to fade away.
Luna, what's this?
Celestia yelled. She tried to move, but she couldn't even shake her head.
My stunning spell! I've honed it for years, and finally I caught you!
Luna replied, walking towards her immobile sister.
You raised my special cake!
She raised her hoof, pointing at her face.
Why did you do it?
I was hungry, and your cake looked delicious.
Celestia answered.
Oh, yes. It was delicious.
You still ate my cake! You had no right to do so!
Luna yelled.
So what if I did? What are you going to do?
Oh, I have plans, dear.
Luna walked next to Celestia, moving her mouth close to her ear.
You've been a very bad sister.
She whispered.
What are you planning to do?
Celestia nervously asked her sister. Luna was starting to scare her.
We will have some fun together. And you will taste some of my Luna cake. I'm sure you'll love it.
Luna chuckled, sticking her tongue out of her mouth, licking her sister's ear. Celestia cringed.
Sometime later,
A bell rang.
ding! Oh, Celestia, my Luna cake is ready!
Luna chimed, opening the oven's door with the magic. She withdrew a big royal blue cake from the oven. She placed it over her table and added the frosting to the cake.
What did you think was going to happen?
Well...
I know what some of you are thinking right now, and it can be best summed up like this. Dun 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 dun.
Okay, done.
Finally!
Celestia exclaimed.
Now it's ready!
Luna said, grabbing a slice of cake with a magic and hovering it right next to Celestia. The dark blue aura was replaced with Celestia's faint yellow-white aura.
Thanks, Luna. You're the best sister ever.
Celestia said, smiling at her sister.
You're welcome, Tia, and sorry for using my stunning spell.
Luna rubbed her hoof against her right hoof.
Oh, don't worry. I promise to stop obsessing over cakes after eating this last one.
It's always one more.
Isn't it?
Always one more. Celestia turned to stare at the cake, giving it a soft bite.
I know you will, Tia.
Luna said.
I know you will.
She whispered to herself.
You'll never eat my cakes again.
Meanwhile, sometimes later.
So, Princess Luna, is Princess Celestia going to be okay now?
Twilight asked. She was sitting on Luna's bed, using her magic to brush Luna's mane with her comb. What a twist!
She will surely be. Thanks for your help, Twilight Sparkle.
Luna replied.
In fact, I think she will stay away from cakes for a good long time.
Luna laughed.
Why? Did you add something to the cake you prepared?
Twilight asked, putting the comb down.
Come to think of it, since I arrived here, she hasn't come out of the bathroom.
Let's just say chocolate laxatives are good cake condiments.
Luna chuckled. The end.
Well, that was certainly fun.
Well, that turned out better than I expected.
Told you. And I told you it wasn't a clot pick.
Well.
And for those of you out there still getting hardcore Celestia flashbacks,
good for you.
Dun 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 dun. Okay, I'm gonna stop this now. Well, now you know where Eric from the BBC's new broadcast of Princess Celestia eating all the cakes came from. Even if Daedaltheus had no knowledge of the story prior to doing that bit. Good night.
Wait. We didn't rate it.
Oh, touche. You first.
You first. You're the one that found this one.
I'm gonna give it a 9. It's kept you guessing. A lot of allusions to what you thought was gonna happen, and good twist. Also, why do I actually believe that Celestia is obsessed with cake?
Well, if you learned anything from Ponyville Confidential, which is probably the best episode of Season 2, we learned that Celestia actually really does love cake, and if we learned anything from Mystery on the Friendship Express, well, yeah.
And to go back to Princess Celestia, if that comic is to be believed,
yeah.
And I'm not going to say any more.
Yep, I'm going to give it a 9 as well. Mainly because the ending did remind me of one of my favorite quotes of all time.
And what is that?
Are you aware of the Klingon proverb, Kirk? Revenge is a dish best served cold. It's very cold in space.
Anyway, good night, Mental Gem. Sleep well, and remember, always eat your cake with a fork and a knife.
And don't be messy.
Mm-hmm.